The Bay of Green Bay is a system that we're both real familiar with. I have good friend and Mercury pro Tom Kemos with me today. We're dealing with fall patterns. The fish are set up on structure. Now typically when you hear of the Bay of Green Bay for walleyes, you think of trolling. I mean, it's one of the best places in the US to catch big walleyes. But we're doing a technique that Tom's been telling me about for quite a while that I've been real excited to do. And it's jigging with red tail chubs on these structure areas. There's a few key areas that Tom looks for. Now the cool thing is, even the old man might show up for a little bit of time, you know? Go fishing, all three of us in the same boat, have a little bit of fun. But this technique is something that is really, really cutting edge. So why don't you come chubbing with us on Green Bay and we'll show you the next bite.
Just looking for the next bite, next bite, next bite. Just looking for the next bite. It's the
Green Bay and trolling go together like peanut butter and jelly, especially when it comes to catching monster fish, whether that's walleyes or even muskies.
Unreal!
But jigging is often overly associated with river systems or even picking apart shorelines. But no matter what you are casting at, feel is still everything with jigging. And when using live bait, the philosophy behind its application is much akin to live bait rigging for walleyes. One major advantage for this particular approach when using larger quarter-ounce jigs and big fat creek chubs paired with the right line and rod setup is that you don't have to be a professional tournament angler to begin to pick apart all kinds of structure on a body of water like the Bay of Green Bay.
Absolutely. I feel like they're out there just waiting for us right now.
Well, let's go get them.
All right, let's do it.
In dirtier or clear water, off of man-made or natural structure.
This one's real shallow, but normally when they're here, these are big ones.
I've pitched her on this one before.
There's a fish. There we go. Good fish.
Whether you hook up with your target species or other monster fish that are also hanging around these structures, just looking for a bigger meal.
Oh, huge smalley.
Is it?
Yeah, look at that thing.
Breaking down structure comes with locating the fish, so first up is maximizing the amount of feel you can get.
They aren't afraid to hit a red tail either, are they?
That's a fatty.
That thing's a beast.
So that even in wind or dirtier water conditions, you can get the most out of each of your casts for pitching or going vertical.
You know, in a presentation like this, we're actually taking a rigger's mentality into the setup. Basically, when you're rigging with slip sinkers, you want to find the liveliest bait possible. So with these large red tails, we're making sure that we hook these things up to get the most action out of your presentation. And it's really a pretty simple deal. We're just stringing that hook right through the upper lip of the chub so you get all that action. And one of the coolest things about hooking chubs up like that is when those big fish get close to them, you can actually feel those chubs going crazy. So many times you can be ready for the bite, you feel the thunk, that walleye's got the bait in it, but you can only get that with hooking these chubs up this way.
Yeah, here's a bite. There he is.
You got one, Tom?
Yeah.
He was right by the pillar, huh, Tom?
Oh yeah, right up tight against it. It's a nice fish.
There's not very deep here.
There he is. There's a decent fish.
Oh yeah, that's a good fish, man.
Ready?
Yep. There we go.
There you
Get
are.
away from me. That's a good one.
Oh yeah.
The water next to these pillars is so dark, we didn't see him till right when he hit the surface, and boy, that one didn't want to come in the net, did he?
No, he absolutely didn't. Look at that. It's hooked nice right in the roof of the mouth, just like you like to have them.
Perfect.
As soon as I set the hook, I could feel those teeth rubbing on that jig. I knew right away we had what we were looking for.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
The next bite is presented by Mercury. Amsoil, the first in synthetics. Tracker boats, fish the finest. Bass Pro Shops. Your adventure starts here. Berkeley. Catch more fish. Trading clouds, cloudier water, and shallow man-made structures for moving north into clearer water to take a pass at some deeper natural structures like sunken islands and rock humps. Chase and Tom are joined by Chase's dad, professional tournament angler Gary Parsons.
Old guys are taking the young stallion fishing.
Wow. As they use their electronics to begin to speed search areas to take a closer look at vertical jigging the same creek chubs they were previously pitching for big fall Green Bay walleyes.
There he is. He just ate it.
Did he?
He just ate
He
it.
picked it up?
Yeah, he just ate it. He knocked slack right in it. There he goes.
Now don't mess this. You didn't mess it up.
We marked those fish and you sat right on their heads. It's just like ice fishing, man.
Oh yeah.
Look at the head shakes.
Look at him. Here
Yep,
he comes.
yep.
Good fish.
Yep.
Oh, that's a good fish.
Oh, another nice one.
It's off too.
Wow. Holy man. That's a good one.
Oh man.
That's so cool how you got him. Just 3 fish, boom, 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 and one
that
of them
crazy?
ate. Yeah.
I mean, they're right there on that little rock pile,
Yeah.
and I worked that jig right over the top of them, and that one came up about 3 foot and just crushed it.
Boy, that's a heavy fish.
Yeah, look at how healthy these fish are.
Yeah.
They're just beautiful. Look at
Wow.
the color on that thing.
This is a kind of a different technique for the Great Lakes, and you're probably not going to see hardly anyone talk about it. Actually, Tom turned Chase and I onto this. That's why I came all the way over to fish with these guys for a day. You want to look for deeper humps out in the Great Lakes, and those are sunken islands, or even if it's a long tapered point coming off of an island or the mainland that dumps off into deep water. Personally, I think the deep water is a key now that I've seen how these fish set up on this structure. We see these fish set up on structure like this in the summer, and normally we're trolling for them. But this time of year, they can get bunched up right on the tops and off the sides of these sunken islands. So you really drive around till you graph the fish, and sometimes they're right up on top, sometimes they're off on a sharper edge, but you actually find some fish first, and then you set up right on top of them and move very slowly with the trolling motor and try to work the fish almost like you're ice fishing. Tom's been moving around here. He finds this little group of fish, sits right on top of them, see if we can get a bite. Sometimes they don't bite, other times, boom, you get a bite. So it's really kind of a cool technique. And again, it's not one that hardly anyone does, but it is maybe the most fun that you could ever have on the Great Lakes because the fish are big and you can catch them with a jig stick.
The Real Deal. Real fishing information from real fishing experts. Presented by Amsoil.
Down at Tracker Media Days on Table Rock Lake, and I gotta be pretty honest, I'm excited just to be standing in this boat. Lance Williams, who's a head engineer for this project, the ZV-21, is with me today, and we're unveiling this boat. This is a big water boat for the north. 21 foot 7 inches, 100-inch beam. Perfect boat for those northern anglers that fish the rough waters. Lance, you want to explain what you guys looked at in constructing the hull of this boat to get both good rough water capabilities and top end speed?
We really based this boat off the Tundra, the 21 Tundra. We know that was a good hull bottom, but we did something really unique with the hull bottom on this. The strakes are towed out. You go race a snowmobile and you want it to turn at high speed, you got to tow those skis out. And same thing with a hull bottom. If you got those strakes towed out and you go into a corner, then it tracks really good in a corner, and that's what this boat does.
But being a fisherman, we need room to put our gear. And I will say one thing, this boat didn't disappoint, did it?
No.
I mean, we have in the back of this boat, like I said, with that 100-inch beam, you have a lot of trolling room. When you're in the north, you're gonna be doing a lot of trolling, so a lot of trolling room in the back. Now, one of the cool things about this boat that I've never seen in a boat for the north previously is there's padded carpet throughout. Meaning, when you're standing up trolling 8 to 10 hours all day long, it's just going to be more comfortable for an angler's body. But when you look at the configuration as far as storage goes, what we have are 2 huge storage areas. You can fit a ton of 360, 370 tackle boxes. You know, all your crankbaits, all your spinners, everything can go in both the side compartments here. A giant live well in the back, pump out, oxygenators, everything you need to keep your fish alive. Whether you're fishing tournaments, whether you're just, you know, fishing for fun, it doesn't matter. You know, when you get up into the front of the boat, looking at the consoles, that was one of the things that you guys did a great job on, Lance, is making sure that all of it was high quality. There was enough room for the big units that a lot of the guys in the north like to use, right?
Yeah, that was one of the critical things is between Gary and yourself that you wanted specifically was be able to have 2 graphs up here, because you're going to be working in the back on the kicker motor and doing your trolling. You wanted to be able to see mapping, and you want to be able to see the structure scan.
You know, the console's a great setup. You get up into the front of the boat. The rod storage you guys have built up here is unbelievable. There's actually 3 real big levels for rod storage. And then you have a few more compartments up front here for storage, a bait well. Basically, those storage compartments run all the way up both sides. There's just a lot of area to put things up there.
Yeah, there's a huge amount of storage. You wanted to be able to open the cooler and be able to throw your ice and bait in it from outside of the boat. So that was, you know, again, listening to what the anglers want and then trying to implement it. And what your guys really wanted was some place to stow your net. We got a very
cool.
unique feature, easy to stow, and you still got room to put your rods beside it. Again, on the bait well, we didn't even compromise there. We got a 3-pump system, the same as we got on the aft live well. You got to pump out, you got to recirc, you got to fill, you got an oxygenator. You know, there's just nothing left that we could add to this thing to make it better for you.
You know, what we're doing here is kind of a cool technique that I discovered a little bit by accident at the beginning of my career. Basically, I fished a tournament out of southern Green Bay and met a gentleman in the parking lot who told me about some rock piles that he was catching really nice fish off of. And, you know, I thought they were some sort of a secret spot, but it turned out they were actually channel markers. So I was real anxious to get back up here and give it a try. So I fished around and really tried to find as many of these rocky areas as possible. And what I found is any place that there was a decent structure, there were walleyes on it. And by pitching these larger jigs with red tails, I could extract some of the biggest fish on the structure. Well, what I wasn't sure about, because the water is a little bit darker in the southern part of the bay, was whether or not this technique could apply to some of the structures that are further north in the cleaner water. What I actually ended up finding out is that those fish are there and they will eat the chubs. It's just a little bit trickier because of the clear water. You need to approach with a little more stealth. You know, there's a bunch of different techniques that we use throughout the year to catch walleyes in open water and around these structures on the Great Lakes. But oftentimes, jigging is definitely an overlooked technique that not only is effective for extracting big fish, but it's also a lot of fun.
Even though Gary, Chase, and Tom are technically vertical jigging these sunken islands and rock humps, targeting solely the biggest fish that they can find, it's interesting that unlike other instances of vertical jigging, they are feeding line out to the walleyes to let them take the live bait.
I'm pretty sure there's a fish here.
I think there is, Dad. I really do.
There's definitely a fish here.
Yep.
He's taking the jig right with him.
Yep.
Much like rigging before setting the hook.
Got him?
Yep, I got him.
Nice.
Nice fish.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I missed
Tom,
him.
why don't you get the net?
I missed him.
I'll keep us pointed and right.
I just dropped the jig to him. He took off like if I was rigging him. That was really cool.
How's he feel?
He's a pretty good fish.
Oh, look at this. I'm up on the
Staying
front
down.
just watching everything.
Yeah.
He's feeling a little bit nicer now. He just had a lot of line out because he took it like a rig, you know.
He's getting bigger now, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. I haven't seen him yet.
Oh, I just saw him.
I just
He's a good
barely
one.
saw him, yeah. Oh, yeah, he's a good one.
That's a good
he's
one.
He's a good one. Oh, here he is, Tommy.
Yes!
Wow.
Nice.
That was cool. Man, you know, I didn't know if I should feed him or not. When he hit, he went clunk, And then he started going, so I thought, oh, you either set the hook, but it's a chub, you know, you set the hook too fast and you miss him, so I just let it go. And he just took off like it was a rig. So that was pretty neat.
It's crazy. With these big baits, that is your instinct, is to feed them a little bit of line. But
Yeah, I mean,
you know how these fall fish can be, though. It's a little different this time of year. They're here to eat.
Yeah, and even at that, look, he had grabbed that chub and took off, but he didn't have it way down. He just, maybe it was best I did give him a little bit of line.
Absolutely.
What a beautiful fish though, huh?
Oh yeah, it's a beauty. Look at the color on it.
This time of year, they're really pretty, and they're pretty stocky, and you know, he fought hard.
Oh yeah, well, somebody stuck a hook in your face and pulled you out of 35 foot of water, you'd fight it also.
Exactly. But we're gonna let this beast go.
Oh, come on, baby.
Not very often do we fish with jigs on deep structure on Great Lakes, and because of that, our setup, our basic components in our system are going to be a little bit different. So I'm actually using the same main line that I normally would, 6-pound fire line. Now the nice thing about the fire line is it's no stretch, so in this deep water, 35, 40 feet, you have a lot of feel. Now this is the setup that's way different than what I usually do in most scenarios, and that's using actually a fluorocarbon leader. About a 3 to 4 foot fluorocarbon, 8-pound 100% Berkeley fluorocarbon is what we're using here, with a real small swivel. That tiny swivel takes away line twist because this water is so deep. And then that fluorocarbon camouflages your setup right by the jig and the chub. So change up your scenarios if you're in a situation like this. Real deep, clear water, that's one place where I might use a swivel and a fluorocarbon leader to try to get a few more bites.
Leading information on tackle and techniques to make you a better fisherman. Presented by Mercury.
I'm here at Mercury Marine with Kevin Hellman, and we're talking about an exciting new phone app called the Ship's Log. Tell us about it.
Yeah, we came out with the Ship's Log back in October for iPhone. Really what it allows you to do is kind of create a profile for your boat and allows you to track what you're doing on your boat, whether you're out skiing, fishing, or just out for the day, cruising around. And we really started this app kind of to evoke the classic ship's log, where you really have a running track of, the time spent on a boat and really where you were, what it's been doing. So that's kind of where the idea came from. So you can kind of see here, when you first download the app, you'll want to set up a profile. It's not a profile for yourself, but more for your boat. So it's, your year, boat length, number of engines, that kind of stuff. You can also put in your engine serial number, so if you ever have to call Mercury service or things like that, you'll have that available. And then also prop information, so you have that nice place to store that too. So, and then really what the ship's log allows you to do is create logs when you're out on the water. When you create a log, you can kind of show here, you can go on, you can add a photo for the log, name the log entry. So if you're heading out to a certain lake, you could name it that. And then you can also go in and say, these are the people that were with me that day. This was who was captaining the boat. The app also pulls in the location. So if you're at a, found a new hotspot for fishing or something like that, it would automatically pull that information for you, and you can go back and easily find that. And then along with the location, the phone will pull in the weather to give a kind of a picture of what the day was like when you're out there as well. And then we also have a place for you to enter your engine information. We have fields for top speed, average speed, engine hours, fuel level, just to kind of give you a quick picture of kind of what elements were like that day, in addition to the weather outside and things like that. So once you have that done, it actually syncs up to a website as well. So you can go on, and if you decide to make your logs public, anyone who's using the ship's log, you can go on and see what they've been doing, where they're fishing. So we already have thousands of members, thousands of posts on the web already that you can go through and see. So it's pretty cool to see what people are doing on their boats all over the world.
Using a large live bait presentation, pitching in shallow or dirty water, and then exploring more of a rigged style vertical jigging technique, working the tops and edges of sunken islands and rock humps in 30 to 35 feet of water may not be traditional when you think about going after big walleyes on the Bay of Green Bay, but Chase, Gary, and Tom are about to size up the full potential of the situation.
Oh, good fish.
And show that taking advantage of these locations with this unique jigging approach can deliver walleyes as big as anything that you might catch trolling in the fall.
He's bearing down on you, isn't he?
Give up on this hump, Thomas.
Yep.
That looks like
gonna be a while, boys.
That looks like a good fish.
What do you got there, Tom? You kind of got me nervous with the net right now, Tom.
Oh, this fish is just, here he comes.
Oh, he's a good one. He's a good one.
Yep. There we go!
Nice!
Yeah. Look at that thing. Oh, man. What a beauty.
I guess there was good reason for me to be excited with the net.
Oh, yeah.
Wow! You
What
look
a beauty.
gigantic coming up from the deeper water.
Oh, yeah, and this clear water, it's crazy.
What
Look at
a
that
cool
thing.
fish.
How's that Chubs day going?
I don't think he's very happy.
What a beautiful fall fish. Look at the color on
That
that.
thing's gorgeous.
Wow.
Nice.
Whew, look at the belly.
And on this
man.
technique, unbelievable.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, that's what's so cool about this. I mean, we're used to coming up here and trolling for these fish, but this time of year, they set up on this structure like what we're fishing here, and they will eat these chubs, and what a fun way to catch them.
You guys ready yet?
We're always ready.
Old guys are gonna take a young one.
It's like having a refrigerator, man.
I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna be 230 pounds after next year.
Well, I mean, the good thing is he had a good start on it.
Hey, give me a Gatorade out of there, GP, digging in Snack Canyon like that. What was that?
Oh, no.
What do you got?
It's a carp. Oh, man. Oh, man, he got my jig, too. No! I almost fell out.